Wrote my notes on my hand.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this again. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, welcome to Spin Cycle. Can you believe that we are on episode 10? We've done this 10 times. All right. I'm not going to tag Scott Trailer in that just yet.
Okay.
It wants me to tag you.
Oh, okay. How does it recognize me? You recognize my face?
Yeah, it knows you.
What?
Okay, well, everybody is hopping on here. Hi, guys. Sorry about the whole little snafu. I had some Wi-Fi snafu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so real quick announcement while everybody's coming in here. Remember that today is the last Spin Cycle for this page. You need to go over to the blogger page and like that page because we're trying to drive all the traffic over there to that page. Okay, so for starting in June, the show will be over there. So, just remember I saved these.
Okay.
Catalog them on YouTube and also the website. So if you miss a week, you can always hop over there and look for it. So the Starbucks gift card is a giveaway that we're doing right now to anybody who likes the blogger page by June 1st. Okay. Are we hopping on here? How's everybody doing tonight? Yes, thank you. Go there right now. I'm just working on the angle. We need like waist up here.
Waist up.
Yes,
Okay.
this is good. So I will walk a tad slower.
Okay.
Plus I don't want to spill this all over me. And my slippers. I'm walking in my slippers tonight because I'm an old lady who goes for walks in her subdivision.
So as everyone's getting on, what was your most... Let's do one embarrassing moment. What?
Embarrassing moment of what?
No, I do not have a selfie stick.
No, he doesn't. Hi, Oral. Okay, but I do need
Would you rather hold it? I don't think I'm doing it as good as you want me to.
There is no selfie stick. This is just us. Okay. So, thank you, Tanya. I love you too. All right, so tonight, Scott graciously agreed to come on here and share some wisdom about not necessarily me.
Oh no.
But just we thought we would have a conversation of a few things to do when your spouse is moody.
Why did this topic come up? Was it because I was in a bad mood the last couple days?
No. We don't know how it came up. Right? Okay. So do you want to start with the recommendations or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. So my first recommendation would be to give time to your spouse. So if someone is moody, I would always start with give them some time. So that could also mean space. Give them some time. Because obviously everybody processes differently.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. What? You don't think that works?
No, it's a good one.
Do I give you time?
Yes.
Sometimes?
Sometimes.
Not enough time?
Depends.
Okay, so give me an example of when you need time.
Well, if I just know I'm in a bad mood, like I just can't figure out why.
Well, I can tell you when, because it's when you start cleaning.
True. Is that why? Is that like a ulterior motive? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
But you just suddenly start like a cleaning rampage.
Yeah, I think because the question, getting a bunch of questions about like why and all that
What's
kind of
wrong?
stuff. Yeah, it just makes me more frustrated.
Okay.
Because if I do that, I would tell you and I would do something. Right.
Okay.
Not that I don't want to, it's just that I just don't know yet.
So when he starts cleaning, I just let him keep cleaning. Number one, because it benefits everybody. But number two, because I know eventually, like, he'll come back around. Can you hold this for a minute? So, I don't know. Do you guys have any pet peeves that you do when you get moody like that? So if Scott is feeling some kind of way, he'll start cleaning, and then I'll be like, whoa, sound the alarms. Something is amiss. He's mad about something. We won't get into like what I go through of what I think during that whole time. But I will say, give time to the other person. Okay, do you have a suggestion?
Time. Give them permission to do something that they really enjoy. It's like yesterday for me, not that I was in a bad mood yesterday, but I was the previous day or two.
Yeah,
right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say why.
Why?
Well, because we were trying to do this like no starch, no sugar thing. And
that's what started it, yes.
It was really making us mad and angry and like super moody.
Yeah.
It's not like the keto thing we're doing exactly, but you know, they say like the Keto Flu thing because your body's like detoxing from sugar. Yeah, that. So that makes everyone feel real awesome. So that's what started it. So you got to go fishing and
I took the kids
have
fishing
a long
first.
time.
So that was fun, just teaching them how to fish. So I think some of this could be like, how do you get out of a bad mood?
Okay.
And I think putting yourself in a situation to help somebody else is a really good way to do that.
Because it's a distraction?
Yeah, I think so. But you're also doing something positive. You're not just sitting isolated.
Thinking about your problem.
Yeah, just like having the conversation with yourself, and now the problem is 10 times worse. So not only do you remove yourself for a time period, but, so this did not necessarily happen the same day, but it was kind of part of the process was I took Jax, Grayson, and Sophia fishing, and I didn't even take a fishing pole because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to fish. But just helping them when they each caught their first fish, just how excited they were. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. That that just kind of puts your mind in a different place, changed the filter a little bit, and just made you appreciate things, right? Because just appreciate the time. Took some pictures, and like, cause they're not going to be like this all the time, and they're not going to be this small,
right,
all the time. So,
so Tanya was just saying it's hard for her to be left alone or to leave other people alone because then she feels like that demonstrates that she doesn't care. So I would just say in a situation like that, the only reason I do that for him is because I know it works. And so we've had to communicate about preferences and about those things. So
some of it's about the how. So if you like leave the room leave me alone and slam the door, not that you do that, but I'm just saying that would be like not a good way of doing it, right? Like you got to communicate, hey, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a little bit, or I need a little bit.
But wouldn't you even say, like, within the first 3 months that we were married, we were trying to, like, talk through that? Like
right then and there.
Communicate, what was kind of going on in our mind when something like that would happen, and, like, finding out what we needed. So that's kind of how we got to that one. Okay, so time/space. Second one I would say would be respect. So I think just mutual respect in the situation. So I'll give you an example. Okay. So, what's the thing I hate the most when I'm upset that you say?
Michelle, listen, before you get into that, you're going to be fine.
Oh, I hate it. Okay, because to me, that always sounds demeaning. You're gonna be fine. That sounds to me like that you don't care, that you don't see, or that you don't see like the weight of it or the magnitude, or in the moment, like it could be really overwhelming and upsetting. So on that topic of like respect, for me, that communicates respect. Like if you say something caring, anything, but like crazy weird trigger phrases like, you're gonna be fine. But I'm not fine. I'm going off the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on
Well, I'm
giving
definitely...
each other respect for
What's...
the feelings, like to process it?
So, not one of my strengths, I think you're saying this might be a different word for it, is empathy.
Right? We've talked about that.
So we talked about that a lot.
Not that you're not kind. You're the kindest man I know, but like in a situation.
Right. I just kind of.
But we're also talking to a father of boys here, so like there's not really a lot of room where he's had to be that way, either.
Right. So I've had to learn to slow down and say, okay, try to maybe repeat what I hear the feelings are. So I know, because oftentimes when she's feeling that way, she feels like she's not seen. So just to be able to summarize what I just heard and acknowledge the feelings.
Yes.
Helps make you feel heard and seen.
Yes, and that's like communication of respect.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say the third thing, maybe not so much for a guy, but would be reassurance. Because usually if I'm moody, I have a really good reason for being that way. So, what? No. I do. So I would just say reassurance is helpful because it kind of like centers you. Yeah. Do you ever need reassurance? You're much more confident with things, I feel like, than I am.
I mean,
like emotionally, like you're just like,
every day
I married you, I love you, we're together forever.
Right.
And amen.
I mean, if there's everyday type things, no, like I'm confident in things, but if something was just like so far off the rails, I think we've like, I don't know if anybody's experienced this in the past, because obviously this is our second rodeo, but just to have that D word thrown up in your face, if something like that happened, and I don't think we would ever go there.
No.
Because we know the damage that does.
Absolutely.
But if something so hurtful was said, I think I would need some reassurance. But neither one of us really go there because we don't need to. Because we really do try to, once we get the space and the respect and the empathy, we do circle back around. So
I always think you're not going to circle back around, though. Why does that happen?
I'm like old faithful,
like you,
Michelle.
You always do. He always does. I think I'm just still like working on some wounds from that point. Still, I feel like there's always that little tiny doubt in the back of my head, like, oh my gosh, something's gonna happen and it's not gonna be okay, or it's gonna fall apart, or he's gonna change his mind, or something like that. But if any of you have gone through heartache or breakup or divorce or betrayal or any of those kind of things, like, you get me, right? You understand what that's like. So I would say, to recap, so we said time or space, so we said respect, and we said reassurance.
Thanks, pretty good
We are
list.
not giving a disclaimer that this is like foolproof or that your whole life is going to be magical. But they do work.
It works.
Now, what was your other question? Because we have about 10 minutes left on here.
Oh my gosh, so quick, huh?
Okay, so you said...
Oh, at the beginning?
Yeah, you said... Oh, guys, what did he say? It was good.
I was looking for an icebreaker, like filler time. I was saying, what was your most embarrassing moment? No,
not that. There was something at the when we started working on the list, and then you said something like recap it to like end cap it. It wasn't what to do when your spouse is moody. It was something like after or something, or. Oh, guys, it would have been so good.
That was good and I didn't even know it?
I don't know. Thanks, Samantha, for that vote of confidence there. Okay, so it wasn't if and when. It was kind of like something after, was it about getting in fights? How to get out of a bad mood? Is that what you said? Kristen said, how to get out of a bad mood. I think that's what you said. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl. I know you got my back. Okay. So
I was talking about doing something for somebody else.
Right. So that's good. Doing something for somebody else, because it kind of changes the perspective, changes the environment. I'm always big about changing environment to help with that.
Yep.
Okay, so what else you got, trailer?
How's it going?
Hi.
When we said changing environment, I would just say, so we just talked about doing something for somebody, but I think also just knowing things that you like to do that will, sometimes it's okay to take your mind off things. Mm-hmm. So for me, it could be going for a walk. It could be fishing, especially this time of year. Or it's just quiet and alone time and that kind of thing. What would it be for you? Like if you were just trying.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna vote that change your environment be its own thing. So do something for someone else. Change your environment would be its own thing, because sometimes I just have to regroup real quick.
Right.
So not even if I'm necessarily moody or not able to tell why I'm frustrated or upset, but if it's anger, or I feel something welling up and I don't want to explode in front of all the kids, then I will change my environment as quickly as I can. So sometimes I will just go out on the front porch for a second and try to regroup, or a short little walk to the corner, or up to my room for a minute.
Go get your nails done. That's when you need some time.
Okay, so that is because the self-care is so important. That's some good headspace, recharging headspace.
Right.
That's recharging headspace. Were you about to eat those mushrooms? No. I saw you looking at them.
No, I wasn't thinking about smoking them, but I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're so sweet, Samantha. I appreciate that. Well, we don't have it all figured out at all, but we're trying. Okay, so what else to get out of bed mood? I would say whatever you're doing to kind of recharge, or whatever you're doing to take a break with, I just caution people usually, or women specifically, whatever you're doing in excess can always be detrimental. So if you are taking naps, let's say that's really a weak spot for me, because I could easily retreat to that. And then that could really get into a depression kind of funk thing, cycle, if you weren't really keeping tabs on that. As a form of medicating it. That's true. The bank don't recharge. Sorry you're in a mood tonight. I was too, but it's helping me to get some fresh air out here.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on that for getting out of a bad mood, more geared toward men?
If you're a father, it's really hard, especially if you've got kids in elementary school or younger. It's really hard to be in a bad mood if you're taking time to just wrestle with the kids and stuff. You just can't be in a bad mood. That's just good honest time of because number one, it's some physical activity, but the kids are laughing, you're tickling them, that kind of, that is just...
I will say that is his default to get anybody else in our house out of a bad mood, is he will just tickle them. Doesn't ask permission, just starts tickling them.
Well, I call
including me.
I call it tickle therapy. Legit, it's tickle therapy.
I just had a really important thought. See, this is what happens when I don't sit still for these, because then I'm not able to take notes as I go. What was I going to say about, it wasn't about the nails. It was about...
Self-care? No.
Something about self-care. Something about... I can't think fast enough on these things. Was while we were walking over that way by that house, And I was thinking about telling you how I was going to give an example. We can just dump those if you want to. An example of... Was that an example of a time? No, not when you tickled me. Oh, about how he diffuses me. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Sorry. No, this is very helpful information. This is very good because I've never had this before. So this is like... This is really helpful. Yeah, I know, Kathy. Like, that tickle therapy does not work on me, okay? I'm just saying, like, that's what he tries. He does it with the kids, and he'll come toward me and be like, come on. You know you just don't want to act like this the rest of the day. I'm just like, stop it. Leave me alone.
You think it doesn't work, but you don't. It's just because you don't want it to work, but it does work.
Okay, anyway. So I was telling you this last week, I think, how you always are able to, like, diffuse... I don't even know. Like, I know sometimes you say, like, pull me back from the edge, but, like, diffuse my mood or my, like, anger or something. Like, because you never, like, I always think it's the end of the world. I always think it's the worst thing possible ever that's happening. And then sometimes you're just like, I don't know, you just say certain things or you give me a certain look, and he's just so kind that... It doesn't take me that long to try to, like, regroup from it. Seriously, maybe a couple hours at the most, but...
Well, I think there's in that comes the cataclysmic thinking, right? So whatever the problem is or whatever got you to that point, it's like, it's the worst
Yes?
possible version of it.
Yes, all the time.
And
every day.
I think the reality of just having to answer a couple of, like, questions, not in your head, but to somebody else, whether it's me or somebody else,
right,
takes that big thing and it brings it back down to maybe something the size of this. So I'm like, okay, well, that's manageable. It's not the end of the world. I can deal with it tomorrow. You actually did the same thing with me a couple weeks ago with some of the things that I'm dealing with from the previous relationship that I'm having to deal with. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is, like, so overwhelming. And he was reminding me that I didn't have to have an answer to it tomorrow, right?
Right.
And so I think sometimes it's just having somebody that can, number one, listen, and then number two, just ask a good couple of just questions to bring you back down to reality. No, you don't have to have it all figured out.
Because your girl does not always operate in reality. Telling you that now if you haven't figured that out. Oh my gosh, he is like a voice of reason. He's very grounding in that way. But that's one thing that I've just appreciated so much is, hi Chan. Oh. Okay. Is his ability to kind of just, like, see me in kind of that little bit of a mess and then help diffuse it. And I don't know if, like, talk me out of it's the right word, but I think we're kind of describing it. Okay. And here's the thing that I thought was really, I was also thinking about this about a week ago, was just, even though we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary, I kind of feel like, in a way, I've been preparing for this marriage and this relationship for, like, my whole life. So, not that anything from a previous relationship or experience is wasted, because all of that was learning and preparation for what I have now. So it's not, I don't feel like we've started at ground zero again. Right. I feel like I have a credible amount of wisdom going into this time around, and experience and healing and all of those things. So even though there's times where things are difficult, I don't feel like the things that we have to work really hard at are anything that I'm repeating, if that makes sense.
I think it makes sense.
So that's just been, like, a really cool insight to kind of realize that everything from the past hasn't been wasted, and, like, it's been preparing me for this. So in some ways, I feel like I've been working on this marriage and this relationship for a really long time. So it's not like out of the gate we're like, oh my gosh, we don't know what we're doing. Like, it's a whole different ball game coming into this wide-eyed, knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into within reason. Knowing exactly what you're signing up for. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? About round two?
About round two? I mean, if you've done the work, and I think we've talked about this a lot, was that there's no substitute for the work.
Right.
So if you didn't do the work earlier, you're not going to do it now. You'll have to do it in the future for everyone. You make progress. And personally and in relationships, right? So I think that's the difference, is that we both have the opportunity to each work on ourselves, and there was an opportunity for us to mature and grow, and we were able to bring that to this relationship. So to your point, we're not starting all over again.
Right.
We're starting from a different place, and we don't have to make a lot of those same mistakes again. So it's like this opportunity to, like when you're a teenager, your parents tell you these things because they've gone through it, and you're like, nah, no, I can figure it out on my own, they're stupid, that kind of thing. Well, it's like the parent version telling ourselves, because we've been through it, like, you know what, no, I'm going to listen to that one, because that mistake, that decision before didn't go well for me. Right.
Or all those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So true. So I guess I just wanted to make sure that got brought up in one of these shows, just because I was hoping that it would be encouraging to someone who maybe is going through second chance at relationships or a marriage or something like that. Because I've just found like a lot of encouragement and hope in it myself. So, well, this kind of concludes for tonight. If you're just hopping on, make sure that you go back and you can watch the replay. Remember that we have the contest going on for everybody who likes the blogger page, because I'm going to be starting Spin Cycle from that page next week, which is June. So you got to go over there and like that page in order to keep up with this, or you can catch the replays on the website, michellestockton.com, or on the YouTube channel, where I've been working on trying to catalog all of that fantastic information. All right. Any closing words? Closing thoughts?
No, I think you did a good job.
Do you have any jokes or anything funny for us? What's the funniest thing I've ever done?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Why not?
I
Is
mean,
it inappropriate?
No, it's not inappropriate, but I mean,
Like, you think
There's
I'm
a
going to
couple
get
things-
embarrassed?
I don't want to embarrass you.
Wait,
I mean, I can think of a couple things.
Just whisper it to me real quick.
1 second.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care.
Or
What? I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. That's not going to embarrass me.
okay.
I mean, I'm not like proud of them or anything.
This will be the shorter one. I'll tell you this one, because
Okay.
the other one's kind of more of a longer story. And this was when we were dating. Michelle would come over. We were going somewhere for the day, I think, if I remember right. We were going. It was like a pretty long, like kind of like day date trip or something like that. And Michelle parked her car in the driveway, and we go and leave, come back, and we're standing in the front driveway, and we're like, "What's that noise?" And we're like looking around, and all of a sudden, Michelle's face just like her mouth drops. She's like, and she had left her keys in the car the entire day and left the car running the entire day. I think the AC was running too. It was really cold in your car.
I don't know what to tell you except for that very often I'm a space cadet and there's nothing I can really do about it.
Can I tell this one?
Sure.
This
Keep going. Keep going.
This is a recent one.
Okay.
So recently, if any of you have watched any of that Dave Ramsey stuff, we've been really trying to get on top of our budgeting, having such a large family, and kind of bringing finances together.
Yes.
And all the carnage from prior relationships, that none of that stuff is pretty. So we've had to put ourselves on a budget. And so we've done the envelope system, right?
Yes.
And so I think it was our first or second week doing the envelopes, the envelope system. Do you remember this?
No.
Michelle, so we put all of our money in this like Padfolio thing. Like it's got all these different
I remember.
All these
Folders,
different
like
folders. It's like the size of a checkbook. And we probably had $1,500 in there because it was supposed to span like 2 weeks, include a bunch of groceries and everything. Michelle gets home from Walmart and I was going to help her bring the groceries in, and she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what? She's like, I left the envelope thing in the cart at Walmart. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to look nice and calm. Okay. She's like, I gotta go back. I'm like, all right, I'll stay here with the kids. And in my head, I'm thinking, this is Walmart. That money is gone. So I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna get through the next 2 weeks.
I was so scared. Didn't I almost like trample a kid on my way out?
I think
or
so.
Something?
Like we had to like move a kid out of the way.
Pulled out of that driveway so fast too.
And but you know,
Oh my
God's
gosh,
faithful, and somebody was honest and found it and took it up to customer service.
They sure
and,
did.
I'm sure opened it, saw a wad load of cash in there.
You know what I should do is I should keep a picture of all of the kids in there.
Right.
Because if anyone were to find it, then they would realize all the kids involved, and they would feel sorry for us.
There you go.
They would feel sorry.
Leave a little note in there too.
And I will.
Like if you happen to take
I will
this,
pre-plan and leave a note.
Dear Mr. Robber, sir.
Dear Mr. Thief.
Thank you for taking our stuff. We would kindly appreciate it if you call this number. We will ask no questions.
No questions asked. Just give us back our money, or all of these kids are gonna come find you.
Right? Oh, believe me, you don't want Channing and Braden coming for you.
Not Channing and Braden. Nope. It was totally Jesus having our back. Whew. Yeah, but anyways, I'm in a little bit of space for that. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you next week from the blogger page. If you go to the website, somebody had a question about that, michellestockton.com, it's under videos. There's a new tab there for videos, and then that links to the YouTube. So have an awesome night.